So how much growth have you guys had since you started?
How much growth? We're still here 10 years later.
That's something.
Right. And we have learned things because, when you talk about growth, if you're talking about extending to new areas, one thing we learned is how difficult that is. Mm-hmm. So at a time when the economy was tougher, we pulled back into Jacksonville only. Now we're in a position where we're hoping to expand back out to Winchester, to Beardstown, to more in Virginia. And services we offer, really, I'd say we've held steady, which these days is probably quite an accomplishment. The other part of what we do is working with the community. It isn't the same enrichment program. It is more like building a life. So with the Gallery Hop, which is the first Friday of every month, and we have our tea party at our house, at my house, literally at my house, and the annual exhibition of nudes, our most popular opening, by the way.
I actually saw that, and I was like, what?
I know. One year we had a young lady volunteering from Illinois College who wasn't sure she wanted to volunteer for that because she thought she would have to serve food nude. Like, no, honey, the people attending are not going to be naked. It's the art. But so we make it, we go on by creating unusual things that you can't necessarily just get everywhere and that you can't necessarily get in Jacksonville.
I was going to say that's something you can't really find in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And it's good to associate art because there's several different kinds of art people can always participate in. And I know this summer, my friend actually helped out with your improv session. You guys did a lot of sessions with kids. Mm-hmm. And what kind of feedback did you kind of get from that? Is that something you've been doing for the past few years over the summer?
Well, no, that was one of our new camps. We have had for probably the past 9 years summer camp, mm-hmm. Which has boiled down to 5 weeks of summer camp. This year we expanded into some new programs. Not necessarily for older kids because we don't place children based on age. We place them based on interest in that particular area. Mm-hmm. So we had Shakespeare on Film camp, and we had improv camp, mm-hmm. which is what you're talking about. And then we also had artsy outings where we would go somewhere where a local artist creates his or her artwork, and then we'd go somewhere and do it. Like sat in the side yard of the Strawn, and the kids drew their sculptures and things. Sat on the street, which unfortunately a couple of kids end up drawing pictures of bars, which I thought really might be a bad thing. Oh. But I didn't want to say, no, honey, that's a bar.
They're historic buildings down here.
They're historic buildings. So we just keep providing unusual and interesting events. Improv is something that is just fun.
Yeah. And I got to work with some of those kids, and they were probably from ages like 5, I think, to about 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And they were all able, I was actually really surprised because not only were they all able to kind of learn how to work together, they kind of did better than some of our college students at improv at some of the games.
Oh, yes.
Their abilities, I was so impressed.
And with what you're talking about, we had some kids who've been exposed to different things through Imagine for several years. Mm-hmm. And then we had some new ones. But it is this continued repetition of the presence of different kinds of arts, mm-hmm. with the sense of if you want to try something, you can try it. If you want to do it, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And just that ability to pick up and go. So yes, those games, improv games, were very, very popular.
When I was talking with one of the kids, he had said something about being kind of in charge of a certain council.
Yes.
So are there children in charge of running some of these events and helping put them together?
Yes. Thank you so much for asking. Yes. One of our board members, Sean Sims, yes, I am mentioning, is going into 7th grade. So he's our youth representative on the board of directors. We also have a group called Young Leaders in the Arts. And that is a group, our kids club is people who just like to come and do some art for an hour. And that's the requirement. You need to be able to cope with doing it for an hour. And every other week. Young leaders in the arts want to do more. They want to organize things. It's really sort of my area because I'm not an artist, not a singer, not an actor. I like having these things available to me. And I like witnessing. So what I teach in the Young Leaders in the Arts is, okay, how do we put on an event? How do we do a fundraiser? What are we going to do with this money? And so, yes, it's an opportunity for leadership. These high school students we have right now, one has finished high school in New Berlin, and 2 are only 15 years old. Had to get the work permits and all that. So they're going to be primarily in charge of planning this event. You're never too young to start being in charge of something if that is what you want to do.
I think that definitely gives them an opportunity you don't always have.
Right.
Because who lets a 15-year-old or someone going into 7th grade help organize an event? Definitely an opportunity for them.
Well, Josh Himes, thanks to him, so if you come to the Luau, you will be having Hawaiian pizza and those little hot dogs in barbecue sauce because Josh decided he wants them. So, yes, this is the, why not? That's what makes a future leader who may never do something in the arts. But it is that leadership opportunity that we can offer, and we love to.
That sounds very nice. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today. Do you
Thank
have
you.
anything else you want to touch on or let people know about that you guys are doing?
Well, our website is www.imaginearts.org, and you can always go there to see what else we have coming.